I've talked about this before, and I think this is one of the things that could change Pokemon Unite overnight in such a phenomenal way. And I really hope that now that they're taking a closer look at what's happening in the global version of the game, we see some movement on this front. Because the amount of players in this game who are AFK or full on griefing is pretty absurd. And I think a lot of people don't deal with it the way that streamers do. I understand that it's like kind of a very different thing, but I thought this video from Chris Heroes is a great example of one of the biggest issues in the game and kind of an unbelievable blind spot that the game has not fixed. Now, I will say there is a way to report players for doing this, and I will have that down in the comments. You can create a ticket on players who are actually actively trying to troll games. Someone like myself, I run into a lot of it, so I don't really know how many tickets I could create as someone who streams, but let's take a look at this really quick. So this is a game Chris had with a player who consistently trolls him and other players in EU. You could see he's loading into the map. If we could, can we zoom in on Chris's face really quick? You can kind of see how upset he is already with the situation. I don't think it's only funny because I know Chris. I think it sucks that he has to deal with this because I have to deal with it too.
Look who it is again. Okay, let's see if he grieves me when he has a DQ partner with him. Surely he's not going to grieve when his DQ partner is with him, right? They actually is going to double grieve me. They're going to pick Comfey and Crosser. This is so disgusting. I have no words for this anymore.
So they pick Crustle and Comfey, a duo queue. They've queued into Chris, and they're going to spend the entire game messing with him right here.
We
so
have to deal
they're
with
just
two of
going to
these
be around him.
That's actually so pathetic, is it not?
Attempting to steal farm from him, sitting on him with Comfey. I'm sure they took the EXP share off, so that way the Comfey will just leech experience from Chris. They literally just stand around him all game, like full-on griefing. More than just saying like, oh, this player goes AFK and they're spinning in base and they're doing things. This is like intentionally following a player, trying to ruin their experience. And this really does just sort of, I'll lower the volume here while I talk about the rest of this. This really does just sort of highlight how big of an issue this can be in these games. And as I've said many times, how much mileage we could get out of very simple matchmaking changes to, just like you can see he's being walled right here, very simple matchmaking changes to players that are AFK and griefing. If they're not going to fix matchmaking to the point where it's more tightly skill based, right? If they still want fast queues and all this, they could at least do something where players who are griefing and players who are AFK, which is kind of one and the same, right? Players who are griefing and players who are AFK are handed out strict punishments and probably realistically just pull them out of the ranked queue altogether, right? If you took this alone would improve games. I swear it would improve game quality like by 500%. If you just took out the bottom row of players, like the players who are AFK all the time, the players who grief all the time, not just 10 fair play points or something like that, just those players can no longer play the ranked mode of the game. When you grief too much, when you AFK too much, you are pulled out of the game. When you're a player with like a 41% win rate and stuff like that, whether you're griefing or not, if you're taking the absolute, like this, the lowest bit of my screen right here, how do I do this so it's straight? The lowest bit of my screen right here, if you just cut those players out of the player base for the ranked queue, the game would improve dramatically. It would improve dramatically. Yes, you would still have games that were not balanced. Yes, you'd still have players who were not as good as other players, and it would be kind of a mess at times, but at least for me, and I would love to hear from you in the comments, at least for me, players who are full-on griefing games is a regular enough occurrence that if they were removed from the matchmaking entirely, I swear to you, your enjoyment with Pokemon Unite, the experience of playing this game would increase so much. I think given that this game is going to release in China soon, and I have to assume they're going to be more serious about the changes to that version, I'm hoping that they get more serious about things like this. I'm hoping that they look for situations like this and they address it quickly and effectively. Because I swear to you, if they did, like, sure, you could complain about your allies all day long. You could complain about matchmaking. The teams were a little unfair. Fine. But if you just had players who were genuinely trying to play this game, if that just is that is the baseline for what you're looking for. You just have groups of players who are genuinely trying to play. They're not AFKing and they're not griefing and their win rate isn't 30%, right? They're actually playing this game. I think you would at least walk away from every single match like going, well, we tried, you know? You might go, this Cinderace still doesn't know what he's doing. Fair enough. But you would at least not walk away from so many games thinking, my team is actively working against me. And maybe this is more of a streamer thing than everyone else, but when I talk about this on stream, people will mention moments like this. People will talk about how they have players they run into like this. I'll have people who play that, I mean, clearly don't know who I am. There's not enough people who know who I am, right? Who will get on mic and they'll cuss at their teammates. They'll spin in base. If you were to eliminate that section of the player base, it makes the game better for everyone else who is trying to actually play this game. And think about it. When you have a player griefing, in this situation, you have two players griefing. Both of these players should be banned. Like their accounts should be banned. They should be IP banned from the game. When you have players fully griefing your games like this, they should never be matched in with other players. And if they are, they're not only ruining the game for the players on this team. They're not only ruining the game for, in this situation, 3 other players, but, really 4 when it's just one player. They're kind of ruining the game for everyone because they're wasting everyone's time. Like, yes, some players are going to get a free win out of this, but I don't think most people are happy. At least I know I'm not happy when I see an AFK on the enemy team and they've done 4,000 damage and the match is over. That's not a game that I'm happy to win. I know some people will, a win is a win, who cares? I want to win a real game. I want to play a real game. I want to play a fun game where my teammates are trying and the enemies are trying. Like I know it sounds crazy, but think about draft games as well, right? Think about how much better draft would be if the players who were playing were serious about playing draft. Rather than just the players who are playing are like, they care about Zera Aura, that's all they care about. Even this situation right here, like, this is so unbelievably frustrating for Chris, but this isn't the only person this happens to. It's not just that this happens to a streamer. This particular person has it out for Chris, but they will do this to other people if they get upset in a match. They will grief their allies as well. Obviously, they're a sad person. Like, the only person who would do this is someone whose life is miserable. So, I mean, that's kind of like the silver lining. Like, the silver lining to all these griefers is the only person who would grief like this is someone who, like, you'd never trade lives with them for a second. But at the same time, it's just really unfortunate that nothing has been done to deal with this problem in any real way. Like, nothing has been done to deal with this. You will queue up for a game, and if you don't press A fast enough in your queue and they bounce you out a couple times, you'll lose fair play points. You'll lose fair play points for that. I understand it's an automated system, right? But with something like this, there should be a robust system in the game so that you can stop players from doing this. There absolutely should be. And I guess I would like to see the end of this video, but I don't think Chris wins here. Even if he does, like, how awful kind of is that? Now these two win, right? So he's trying to fight. Dodrio gets the team there. Talons is low on HP. We have Ray getting pretty low here. And you can just see, like, it's unfortunate. It's created a miserable game for everyone. It's created a miserable game for every single person in this match. Some people are having a moment where I guess they're pretty excited. They're like, they beat Chris Heroes or something. But in general, we've allowed a few bad actors to create a bad match environment for everyone. And it just really isn't acceptable. Chris running in. He's got a rip Ray at this point. They're obviously so far behind. He can maybe pick up a KO or two. Looking to get something done with the Icy Wind. Blastoise Unite. Yeah, Cram Unite. He has to run out of the Cram Unite. He did hit the Icy Wind there, so he's got the boosted damage. Got a minute left. Ooh, he hits Cram. He hits Cram before he can base. Future Sight got him. Now that Future Sight's going to be able to get thrown again. Here comes his ally, ready to wall him in. Surrender Vote, obviously, out from the team, which makes sense, right? Because, again, it's not just these two awful players. There are other players that they're griefing in this match right now. Nice Unite. Living on a prayer right here. I don't think he's able to make it out. LD getting very low, and no, he goes down. LD up into the sky. Rayquaza is low. Dodrio pushes them out. Yeah. And it's just a miserable game. It's a miserable game, and it's a game that no one deserves to experience. And it's honestly unreasonable that Unite isn't doing something about it. You want to complain about things in the game, like you want to complain about this price for Armor Rouge, right? You want to complain about the cost of this battle pass. I'm with you with all that. But if they're charging us for cosmetics and the cosmetics are expensive, but games like this don't happen, I don't think anybody would be freaking out too much. The fact is, there are too many players who are able to do this in a game, not even just because they're on stream, just because they grief their games and there's nothing done about it. I really think if you want to improve Pokemon Unite drastically, you fix this problem. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be good to each other. And yeah, don't troll Chris. All right, bye. Yeah.